Welcome to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by thesoberclub.com. I'm Genuinely Grace. This is for you if you've quit the booze or you'd like to, or maybe you're just sober curious. I'll bring you tips and motivation without any judgment, and there'll be inspiration from experts, quit-lit authors, and sober heroes. Hi, and welcome to the podcast. And if you are in the throes of prepping for Christmas, just take a moment to breathe. This is your reminder that it's okay. You can breathe and come back to balance in all the madness. There's been some really interesting posts on our Sober Club this week or recently, and it's really interesting just seeing the stresses that people feel around this time of year. I absolutely remember it. I really do. It's stressful enough, but when you're drinking, everything is all the stress is heightened. But the reality is that the irony is that we think that alcohol is helping us. We think that alcohol is easing the stress, but really the opposite is true. And I can speak from that place now, can't I? Nearly 8 years sober. That's easy for me to say. But I'm not nagging you. I'm not judging. I just think if you are still drinking and if you're feeling really stressed and anxious and just everything feels too much, then recognize that when you come back to balance, you're able to just see things a little more clearly. It doesn't mean that life doesn't still kick off. Of course it does. But you are able to, kind of get a little grip and welcome some of those emotions and accept, this will pass. It really will. So whatever is going on for you right now, if you are in the throes of panicking about Christmas, then try and keep calm. There is our Bossing a Sober Christmas webinar. You can still listen to the recording of that. There's some great tips on there. There's also a session we did on a Christmas wrap. So that's all on thesoberclub.com. If you just click on blog, you'll see that post there. If you still want some ideas for making great alcohol-free mulled wine and some nice Christmas treats, that aren't too horribly unhealthy, then there's a really great blog called Christmas Cheats and Sober Treats, something like that. Also on thesoberclub.com. So check that out. And of course, our tips from last week with Susan from Whole is Sober. And it doesn't end there, because this week I'm going to rerun a little clip of an interview with Jo Creed, who is just one of my great friends. And I trained with Jo for my NLP. She's a fantastic NLP trainer. If you are interested in doing one of Jo's courses, drop me a message and I'll connect you. But we did this interview a couple of years ago, actually, and I figured, well, there's no point in reinventing the wheel. Let's just play a clip from it again, because it just helps us see really clearly, how the brain works. And when we know how the brain works, when we understand that we can reframe our own thoughts, it makes such a difference. And particularly at this time of year, when we can just reframe things. And of course, it is also about putting ourselves first. So I mentioned Sober Club members having some stuff going down. One member was really anxious about going to visit family who are not supportive, family who would probably be sober shamers. Terrible state of affairs, isn't it? But it's the reality. And she knew that to protect her own sobriety, she was going to have to set some boundaries. And don't forget that lovely saying, no is a complete sentence. It's okay not to go. If you don't want to go, don't go. If you are going, then do your prep, and really do your prep. Take your own alcohol-free drinks. Give people a heads up that you're not drinking. You can give a reason if you like, or not. And as I said in the podcast with Sam a couple of weeks ago, a great line is just to say, I'm feeling so much less anxious when I'm not drinking. Now, which one of your friends and family is going to come back at you with, oh, well, that's a shame. I much prefer you anxious. I hope not. So, that's always a good line, but you can also fib. I hereby give you permission. That's fine too. But ultimately, plan to make your exit as well, because you're not going to want to stay till the death, because drunk people get very boring. So do all of your prep. There are so many tips out there now. You can, as I say, you can listen to our webinar. This is packed with stuff. You can listen to the podcast from last week. You can read the Christmas wrap post that I did as a blog in the Sober Club. And if you're still struggling and you've got a very specific question, drop me a message. I'll try and answer you if I can. Just go on social media at Genuinely Grace, and I'll hold the space for you. I really will. I'll hold the vision. Of course, I'd love it if you come and join us in the Sober Club, because we really have got, all the everything you need there. A whole member portal full of amazing information and guest experts and stuff around nutrition and mindset and just everything, really. So it would be great if you want to come and join us there. But you don't feel like you're on your own. Connection is a big part of this. It really is. It's very important to feel like someone's got your back, particularly if around this particular time, around Christmas, it feels like your family and your friends haven't really got your back. It's not their fault. Don't take it personally. They're just caught in the alcohol trap. We were like that once, right? I certainly was. So we can't really blame other people. We've just got to do the bits we have to do. And this is the most important thing you will ever do for your health and well-being. Has to come first, has to be totally non-negotiable. No two ways about it. That's it. End of. And also, while we're thinking about support and planning and all the rest of it, don't forget I have got a really great online workshop on Thursday, 2nd of January, setting your intentions for 2025. So it's an online workshop. It's 5 o'clock on Thursday the 2nd UK time. If you can't join us, register anyway, and you'll get the whole recording and a recorded meditation. We're going to really dive deep into what we want to release from the year gone, obviously with gratitude. And we're going to focus on what we want for the future. And we know that what you focus on, you get more of. We're going to properly set intentions. We did something similar last year. It was really powerful and people really appreciated it. So I really hope you will join us. The tickets are limited. There is a little fee for this one, which goes to our Sober Club give back fund. But if you can't pay, then just let me know. It's fine. And I do have a wonderful special guest, Sandy Newbigging, an old friend of mine from the Hay House publishing days. And Sandy is a best-selling author and meditation expert. He's going to join us. He's going to share some stuff around setting intentions and guide us in a meditation. And your ticket also includes a recorded guided meditation as well. So you leave with a lot of stuff and hopefully feeling really positive about the new year, whatever it is you need to release from the year just gone. So do join us for that. If you go to thesoberclub.com/events, you'll find the little picture there, the little black and white pic for setting your intentions for 25. So grab your ticket for that. And while we're talking events, just a quick mention for the Lights Andover. It's been amazing, hasn't it? Seeing all the stuff around Wham and Last Christmas and seeing the guys go back to that beautiful place where they filmed the video, and it's lovely for me watching those people that I know so well. And of course, my memories are so vivid from singing with Wham at Wembley when Last Christmas was, but well, that was literally the debut of that song, and there we were with the snow twinkling down. It really was magical. And I remember that the band gave us, guys gave us all in the band a whole bunch of guest tickets. So I became really popular that Christmas time. Everyone I'd ever met, I think, wanted to come and see Wham at Wembley. So they were amazing tours. If you haven't got a copy of my book yet, then please grab yourself a copy, From Wham to Woo, A Life on the Mic. But yeah, the Lights Andover is on Friday the 10th of January, and I'll be sharing all sorts of stories and stuff across my life. Obviously, the 80s, the 90s, the Cola Boy hit, and more up to date with the radio stuff. And of course, the sobriety piece. I mean, how can I not mention all of that? So if you can come, it would be great. It's a theatre. It's called The Lights in Andover, Friday the 10th. I think it's going to be a band as well. So if you go to thesoberclub.com/events, you'll see that there. And also at the end of January, I'm going to be in Edinburgh on the 29th of January, Blackwells in Edinburgh. And before that, there's going to be a meetup for podcast listeners and Sober Club members. So there's some opportunities to meet up in January. It'd be great to see you. I'm also planning a retreat. It's really exciting. I'm so excited. I'm finally going to get to do the kind of retreat I want to do, which is just, going to bring in all kinds of elements of mindset, good nutrition, spirituality. We're going to have the full works. It's going to be great. And that's hopefully going to be the end of February or the first weekend in March. So let me know if that's something that you are interested in. Meanwhile, enjoy this. This is you might want a little pen and paper for this one, because this is really great to kind of get your brain working. So the session we're going to do, which is on, how we can ensure that we stick to what we said we want to do. So we've called it how not to hit the fuck it button. So I know you're not going to do the whole session now, but can you just give us a few kind of guidelines or a few little tips that might benefit everybody, just on how NLP can help us decide to do what we've said we want to do?
Yeah, I think there's so many ways. When we think about something that we want to do, we need to think about, so NLP looks at things like our meta programs. So things like what really motivates us. That's one area that it looks at. So a tiny little bit of that is, for example, if we want to think about, we want to ditch the booze, we want to give up drinking or whatever, we very often think, oh, okay, I've got this problem. I feel tired all the time. I don't like the way I feel. I don't like the way I look when I'm drinking. So that's our problem side of it.
Mm.
But some of the reason why we don't then maintain, or reach where we want to go is that we haven't really thought through what we want to achieve when we've moved away from the problem. So we've not really envisaged, and NLP gives us ways to be able to really, really connect with what's it going to be like in the future, and get that really emotional connection and that visual connection with how it is. So that's just one tiny way. And if we think about the whole thing around booze, it looks at things like, okay, what's the habit? Is the habit when you come home from work and you've had a hard day and immediately you're drawn to a glass of whatever? With NLP, what you can really understand is, okay, what is it that's happening that's triggering me, and how can I resource myself to basically collapse that trigger, so the trigger doesn't have the emotional response from me and that need to go forward. I mean, do you want me to just sort of cover a couple of little things?
Could you? That'd be brilliant. Thank you.
As we're just before Christmas.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
We could also talk about, obviously this relates to whenever. One thing we look at in NLP is also ways of being able to communicate to ourselves what we need and to other people for what you need. The way I train, I incorporate NLP and also something that's called clean language, which is a real way of utilizing your language with other people to get deep, but also to utilize it with yourself. So, for example, if you think about Christmas, think about actually, what is it I really want? How do I want Christmas to really be? How do I want this occasion to really be when it's at the best it can be? Yeah. How do I really want that to be? And actually connect with that. Think about it. What is it? What would it be like? What would I be seeing? What would I be hearing? How would I be feeling when Christmas is how I would want it to be? Okay, and then you think, okay, so how do I need to be in order to get that?
And that's a really important bit that I love about NLP. When you bring in that question, you have to actually take some responsibility, don't you? Rather than just going, well, I want it all to be marvelous. You have to actually ask yourself, how do I have to be? How
do I have to be in order to do it? And then the third question on this little, so it's called a clean setup, this little series of questions is, okay, in order for Christmas to be like that, in order for me to be like that, to get Christmas to be like that, what support do I need from other people? What do you really need from other people to help you? And then it's a good idea to kind of list it down and then to have that conversation and tell people, because we often think people are mind readers, that they know what it is that we want. But unless we communicate with them and explain to them, so for me, this is how I want Christmas. I know for me, this is how I know it to be. And this is what I need from you. I'm asking you to give me this specific support that I need. So think about it. What would really help you? That's a great one as well.
Yeah, and I can really see how that can make a massive difference, because you're right. There's a lot of people who have stopped drinking. There'll be a lot of people listening to this who have perhaps a couple of weeks in, or maybe a week or whatever, and they do want to carry on, and they really do feel committed to that, but they can be feeling very wobbly about Christmas, because Christmas throws up, as you say, all these different emotions, different triggers. Suddenly, out of the blue, you hear a Christmas song, or you're putting the tree up, and it's like, oh, hold on, this is the moment when I have a Baileys, or this is when I have this. And it's such a strong trigger that if you haven't prepped ahead, you're absolutely right. You could find yourself just hitting that fuck it button right there. Just like, oh, fuck it. I haven't got anything else. It'll be all right. It'll just be one. And then, and then you're down that slippery slope. Whereas if you've thought it through and visualized yourself, as you say, visualize yourself putting up the tree or whatever it is you do, holding something lovely that's alcohol free, or whatever it is for you, you can absolutely get past that. But as we were saying before, the how do I have to be is for me, that's the real key. And that's usually the one that gets missed out, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's really connecting with that and going, okay, when I'm at my best, yeah, what is that really like? How do I feel? Where is that feeling? What do I see? How do I breathe even when you're really, really like, you at your best and how I need to be? And then it's thinking about, okay, if I start to, so you think about the support you need. It's also thinking about the support that you need from yourself.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you feel like, okay, someone's triggered me. I know great Auntie Myrtle said the thing that she always says at Christmas, that makes me want to, okay. What can I do? Give yourself permission to do something. If it means permission to walk outside, go into the loo and scream and then come out again, give yourself permission to do what you need to do. If it's permission to give the dog a quick walk around the garden or up and down the street, give yourself permission to do what you need to do to support yourself as well.
Yeah. And I think there's this sort of fine line, isn't there, really, between that kind of taking responsibility and self-care. But then, of course, one of the problems that a lot of people listening to this will have is that they're people pleasers. And they actually find themselves doing something they don't want to do just because they want to make someone else feel better. And certainly when it comes to alcohol, you'd be amazed that the stories I hear. I had a client today who said to me that she really put the work in and prepped ahead for an event she's going to. But when she let people know, and she gave them a heads up, someone actually wrote back to her and said, you've made me feel really sad, really sad. Like, why would it make you feel sad that I'm not putting, toxic poison in my mouth? But unfortunately, that's the culture we live in, right? And so there's a danger that if we are real big time people pleasers, we can end up doing something we don't want to do because we want to be nice to someone else.
And I think that very much happens. A lot of what we talk about with that people pleaser is actually what we're doing was we're coming in as rescuer on the whole drama triangle. The interesting thing is very often when we're people pleasing, what we're also doing at the same time is we are gold medal mind readers. We mind read what it is the other person. So actually, if someone gives you a comment, or somebody's pushing you to do something that you don't want to do, the first thing to remember is, be honest, that's their stuff.
Exactly.
It's their stuff. What they're doing to try and push you is actually trying to give themselves something, an excuse or whatever. It could be anything, but it is their stuff. And the other thing is, if they do say something, it's a good thing to kind of like do this little step back and imagine that you don't know them, that you may be, you're a little alien sitting in the corner, and be curious about actually what's going on for them. So, for example, the person you were talking about when someone said that makes me feel so sad, I'd go back to them with, okay, I'm curious. What is it about me deciding I don't want to drink that makes you feel sad? And actually be curious, because chances are it's about them.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Underneath the surface for them. So if you use that, I'm curious, what is it about? Yeah. I'm curious. You keep encouraging me to have a drink. What is going on? I'm curious what's going on for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is what's great about NLP, isn't it? Is that it really helps you to notice your thoughts rather than just railroading through all the emotions and then reaching for a drink or whatever it is. You have to actually pause and notice.
Yeah, absolutely. Notice what's going on. And also, there's a great saying in NLP, it's going, what happened just before? Yeah. So we can feel something or feel a pull towards something or whatever. What actually happened just before? Because it's the just before that's the trigger. Okay. And it's a bit like, I love the analogy with NLP. It's a bit like looking out of a different window, taking a different view. You can go, okay, is there another way I could look at that actually would empower me more?
Yeah.
And thinking about it. The other thing is, this when people give you their stuff, their comments, and recognizing it's their stuff. It's, if you were, I don't know many people on the call have got dogs, for example. Okay, but even if you have or haven't, if you're going out for a walk with your dog, okay, or just walking through the park, and you see somebody else with a dog, big Great Dane or something, and the dog does a poop on the path. Do you go running up with your poo bag and pick up that dog's poo? We don't, do we? That's the responsibility of the person that's actually walking the dog. And yet we spend our life picking up other people's poo.
Yeah.
Don't we? It's their
It's really true. Really true. We feel responsible for their poop.
We do.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, you were saying about, this being the life and soul of the party and the triggers and everything else that's going. One thing that we do in NLP is we also very much learn from, we have a saying, another saying is we all have the resources we need. But sometimes we bury them and we learn to forget them and bury them, put them aside through stuff that happens in life. If you think about kids, okay, look at a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid, or remember how you were when you were, how you were and could enjoy yourself. You could play, you could have fun, you could do all of that. I mean, I don't know many 6, 7, 8-year-old kids that need more than a glass of lemonade to do that.
Absolutely.
So remember, you have that. You have the ability to be able to play and have fun. Sometimes we just need to be a bit childish, and rather than go, oh, as an adult, I need these things to allow me to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because, the other thing about Christmas and kind of holiday time is that many of us get to see family members. And it's really interesting how, fully grown adults become children again and start reverting to those kind of patterns and even find themselves coming out with quite kind of horrible things just because they're being triggered at being with their parents. I mean, that's an interesting one. I think everybody needs a dose of NLP before they meet their family.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to deal with all that tonight. We probably haven't got time on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Families to trigger you and everything. Yeah. And there is a little tip that you can do that. Okay, if you kind of think about, okay, so I'm reacting against so-and-so with this emotion like frustration or anger. You can kind of go, okay, how would I rather react instead? Okay. And you can do something. Yeah, it's a bit along the playful. It might look a bit weird, but you can even do it in the moment or just walk out for a moment. And we call it power posing. For any of you that have seen the Amy Cuddy TEDx talk, she talks about power posing. Actually allowing ourselves to physically getting a strong, like standing there in a Wonder Woman pose with your hands on your hips, just allowing yourself a few seconds to just really breathe deeply, look up. Looking up is a great one as well. Really look up to the ceiling, breathe deeply, just get your physiology nice and strong. Just for a few seconds is enough. Yeah. And therefore that can really resource you as well.
It's brilliant. Really brings you back to in this moment, I'm safe, I'm okay. I don't need to have to pretend that I'm 5 years old again, right? Brilliant. Jo, thank you. I really appreciate it. Feeling like your sobriety journey has given you a whole new lease of life? Are you feeling super enthusiastic about sobriety? Ever thought about turning that experience into something bigger, something that could inspire and help others while also building a career that feels truly magical? Why not explore a career that aligns with your values? Think about being a sober coach. You'll play a key role in the growing sober curious movement, guiding people towards living their best life without the booze. And of course, you'll lay the foundations for your own journey to well-being. Here's why this work is really special. You get to make a real impact and help others navigate the same path that you've walked. There's personal transformation there, laying the foundations for your own growth and developing your knowledge of holistic health and well-being. Flexibility, build a career and a heart-centered brand on your own terms. Use your story, it's your greatest asset. Grow personally and professionally. Coaching is all about the connection, the continuous learning and the collaboration. You would become part of our family. We have a training that is so comprehensive, from the core modules right through to all the supporting materials and the business sessions. We've got you covered, and you don't need prior experience as a coach. You do, however, need to have had the experience of choosing sobriety and feeling absolutely passionate about inspiring others. So if you're interested, go to thesoberclub.com, click on the main menu, become a sober coach, and then we can arrange to have a chat. They're tiny groups, lots of one-to-one involvement. Get in touch. And if you are interested in Joe's NLP training courses, then drop me a message and I'll put you in touch. Joe also is part of our Sober Coach training program. So if you did decide you want to work with me to train as a sober coach, then we have some fantastic contributions from Joe as part of that training. So yeah, she's been incredibly supportive of the stuff that I do over the years, and I loved doing my NLP training with Joe. So thank you for those tips. We'll put all those details in the show notes, of course. Don't forget then, just another reminder, get yourself connected, join us in the Sober Club. It's low cost, it's high value, there's so much support. Get connected. If you don't want to join the Sober Club, get connected anyway. And you can always message me. Let someone know if you're doing this. Don't try and do it, on your own, particularly over Christmas, because, the wine witch will steam in and say, oh, what are you doing? It's Christmas. You should be celebrating, and our unconscious mind automatically assumes that has to mean alcohol. Well, spoiler alert, it really doesn't. The emperor is not, in fact, wearing any clothes at all. So have yourself a fantastic Christmas and a wonderful New Year. Well, I'll see you next week. I'm going to do a show next week, probably a little bit looking back at the highlights of the year, not least because, of course, my Soberversary is coming up. So I'll share some reflections around my own 8 years. It's going to be 8 years of sobriety. Wow, amazing. And it honestly does get better every single year. That was one of the things that amazed me. I thought, oh, God, when I get to a year, everything's going to be flat. But not at all. Honestly, it gets better every single year. So have a fantastic Christmas. Please reach out if you want support. Just join us in the Sober Club. Message me at Genuinely Grace, or get yourself connected. It's so important. It's so important. I can't bear to think of you just kind of ending up drinking again just because there wasn't anyone to, I don't know, give you a little bit of a boost and a bit of a support and a bit of a leg up. And we are absolutely here for you. So happy Christmas and stay sober. Thank you for listening to the Alcohol Free Life podcast, brought to you by the Sober Club. Please rate and review. And if you want support, accountability and inspiration, and you want to live your best life without the booze, check out thesoberclub.com.